What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV, back here for another episode of player ratings as Spurs lost by 3-2 to Everton. Terrible, terrible performance. But what's not a terrible performance is how our stocks are doing on Stocks FC. Look, we're going to get into the shower of shit, which was Tottenham, in a minute. But first of all, let's get and show some big love to our sponsors, Stocks FC, who are letting everything happen at the moment. Link to download is in description below. QR code on screen as well. Go and show them some love, people. I told you guys to get in on Kevin Sade. I told you guys to get in on the IPO, and it's already taken an 18% swing, an 18% projection. Well, not projection, but increase in the stock value. We've already earned $1.80 on it, and it's looking good on Kevin Sade.
It is. People are getting in on him because all his stocks have been deleted.
Told you not to sleep on him.
Come on. Decky, obviously, with his goal on the weekend, his stocks are rising by 11%, and we got some nice rewards from Decky as well.
$3 reward, which is actually massive.
Which is really good. So good stuff there. Foden as well. We said he's in good form, and he scored, 2 on the weekend. And we got some nice rewards as well from him. So stocks are rising nicely, and obviously Doku continues his good form. Richarlison now in the goals. He's got a 10% rise as well. And with Solanke's injury, I think it's a good time to probably get your stocks in Richarlison, I would say, because he's set for a run of games. Not so good though. Even though Mateta scored a brace, he's down by 4%. I'm not sure why. Solanke, with his injury, he's now down by 20%. Sonny as well, down by 30% after the River Horror Show of the weekend. So not great on the people going down, but some good stuff rising, and which we predicted.
Yeah, definitely a good time to get your stocks in Richarlison right now. He's going to have to play a lot of minutes if he doesn't get injured, that is. But in terms of looking at the biggest movers, and Matt Doherty has gone up by 300%. Quite,
who would have known?
Yeah, 300% he's gone up by in recent hours, and Ollie Watkins as well has actually gone up by 33%. So he's on the rise, a player that we have as well.
And Foden. We've got some of the biggest movers so far. Foden, Watkins.
We manifested it, people. We manifested it, people. So look, go and show some loves to Stocks FC. Link in description below and QR code on screen. If you do use our link, you get 5 free loan players. So by the end of the loan period, you'll get to keep all the profits that your players make, and it's free of charge, people. So go download, go to the description below or QR code on screen and get involved in Stocks FC. But now let's get into the player ratings. Starting off with Antonin Kinski. Sim gives him a 6. I gave him a 7. Look, I thought he made a number of really good saves in the first half. Fingertips fully stretched out, and I think he was a big part of why we weren't, 4 or 5 down by half time. So I got to give him a lot of credit for that.
Yeah, I thought, that one from Mangala was absolutely phenomenal save. And after criticism for some of his shot stopping against Arsenal, it was good to see he made some really good saves in this game. However, there was clearly some still teething problems playing out the back. As much as he's got great quality, clearly he's still learning people's positions and all these different things, because I thought there were quite a few mistakes that put us into quite a lot of pressure during the game from his playing out the back. But I thought quite often though his sweeping was pretty good, and when he was coming off his line there was some good stuff there. But yeah, he'd done well, but still some teething problems, which is natural with a young keeper who's a brave keeper as well. There's going to be some issues there.
Pedro Porro up next. Sim gives him a 4. I gave him a 2. I do feel a bit sorry for him that he had to play this game, because I don't think he ever should have started. However, he did start in a more natural position for him in a right wing back, and I just felt like he did nothing, no impact going forward. I felt like there was a gaping hole on that side as well, and he just had little to no impact in the game.
I think in the first half, I know defensively we're all over the shop, but there was the chances that we did create. A lot of down was actually through some really good passing from Porro, who still we know provides that quality on the ball. But defensively, obviously he didn't get it right between him and Archie Gray on that side. Who's going to be where? They clearly were absolutely muddled with it. I thought in the second half he actually played some really nice passes. There was one really nice pass, I think was to Richarlison, who miscontrolled it, and then it went through to the keeper, Pickford. He had moments, but it was, again, defensively, it was just a shit show in terms of they just didn't have it sorted out between him and Gray, who was supposed to be where.
Next up, we're going to look at Archie Gray. 3s all round for Archie. Pretty much had his hand in in all 3 goals that we did concede got turned into a pretzel for the first goal from Dominic Calvert-Lewin. The second one as well, he's got to be doing more to provide cover. The third one, obviously, he puts it into the back of his own net. I did think, apart from those 3 chances, I mean, he just looked completely lost on the pitch. He's asked to play right centre-back and he was charging up the pitch. He was at right-back at times. He was at centre-back at times. And I just felt like he was just completely lost because of the tactics that Ange Postecoglou was deploying. I don't think he knew what role he was actually playing. And I feel sorry for him. He's an 18-year-old central midfielder, asked to play here, asked to play there, asked to play everywhere. There's only so much an 18-year-old central midfielder can do at centre-back. And, I mean, he looks really settled in the role that Ange has originally asked him to play. But yesterday, I didn't really think he knew what he was doing.
Yeah, Archie, I love you, but you had an absolute mare. And I think part of it is probably the formation change. And maybe clearly there was confusion about exactly where he should be at each time and who he should be picking up. And definitely, but there's also just individual quality as well. I thought obviously the own goal, just was absolute mess. I'm not saying totally his fault, but it was an absolute mess. And the first goal, that's nothing to do with formation change. That's just him being absolutely turned inside out, and he's got to be putting a challenge in there. He shouldn't be allowing Calvert-Lewin to get a shot off, and even the second goal just allows Ndiaye to run off him. He's got to be tracking in and making sure Ndiaye's not getting all that space. So I think definitely struggled with the formation change, but I think individually as well. Look, I'm not going to hammer him because he's been absolutely exceptional for an 18-year-old kid coming into the team and playing as much football as he has in recent weeks. He was bound to have at least one game where he wasn't going to be at it or he was going to have a bad game. But I think it was a terrible game from him. There's no getting away from it. So I feel bad for him.
Radu Dragusin, Sim gives him a 3. I gave him a 2. I mean, for the second goal, I thought it was embarrassing from him. He needs to come and be aggressive up against Heung-min and Ndiaye. He did anything but that, backing off. He did get a head injury, got taken off at half-time. But, I mean, every time he was on the ball, he pretty much lost it. I mean, it was so frustrating watching him trying and play out the back and play those long balls up to Sonny or Decky or whoever he was aiming at. I don't even know because it never even reached the target. Really poor. Yeah,
I thought on the ball as usual, terrible. But defensively in this game, he was just all over the shop. The defending for Ndiaye's goal, he's got to be showing him inside. I mean, technically, yes, I know you don't want to be showing a player like that in towards the goal, but you've got Ben Davies covering when you know you don't have the pace to make sure that he's not going to exploit that space on the outside. You've got to make sure he's closing down as much space as possible, and to do that you have to force him inside, because if you do that he's going to run into Ben Davies and all of a sudden he's going to run out of space. He didn't do that. He showed him on the outside and Ndiaye took complete advantage of it. I thought he didn't have a great role to play in the own goal as well. I'm not sure if it comes off him then Gray or it was just off Gray, but it was just absolute terrible. And I thought he didn't deal with Calvert-Lewin whatsoever. Calvert-Lewin just beat him all ends up pretty much throughout the whole 90 minutes, whether it was in behind or in the air. Dragusin was all over the shop, so a mare from him as well, and then went off at half time. So yeah, I don't know what if it was down to injury or what it was, or tactical, but we looked better again. Not the first time we've looked better once Dragusin's gone off, to be honest.
Yeah. Ben Davies up next. Sim gives him a 3. I gave him a 4. In terms of the back 3, I actually did think he was the best of a bad bunch. Don't get me wrong. I don't think he played well. They said he wasn't ready to start after the game, or he wasn't at 100%, and he played like it. I thought, where he did do well was, better than Archie and better than Radu was playing out the back. I mean, he did create that chance for Sonny as well with a really nice ball, but in terms of from his defensive play, I mean, he was pretty much all at sea.
Yeah, I think he was probably the most comfortable playing in that back 3 because he's done it. Yeah, he's done it so often, and he knows how to play. And I thought there were times he was able to get forward and do really well, but. Yeah, I think defensively, again, though, he wasn't helped by his teammates. And I think he just led to what was a really disorganised back 3 where no one knew their positions. And I think he really struggled for it as well. And I thought defensively, again, all over the shop. And he didn't look 100%. He wasn't supposed to play 90 minutes because Dragusin went off. He ended up playing 90 minutes, and feel bad for him as well. But we need him back. Hopefully, and seeing as he's not 100%, that's probably led to the performance. But we need him back in the form he was pre-injury. We need him. We need that Davies desperately.
Jed Spence, Sim gives him a 7. I gave him a 6. He seems to be one of the only players that's keeping up his standards week by week, and it's no surprise to me it's a player that hasn't played too much football over the course of the season. I think he's aggressive on the left-hand side. He's providing to the attack, and from a defensive capability, he's not falling apart like pretty much all our other players. And I felt in the second half as well, towards the end of it, when Mikey Moore came on, I thought they had a really good link-up.
Yeah, I thought he did really well, actually. I thought his when he was taking people on, was doing a really great job. I thought his duels, I think most of their attacks came down the right-hand side. I thought Spence was making sure defensively he was kind of doing his job really well. The only problem I had with him is when he did get into that final third, again, his reluctance to use his left foot. Either he doesn't have one, or the reluctance to use it is making moves break down a lot, and it means that a lot of the chances that could be created don't get created because he either takes that extra move to step inside and then the chance is gone, or the quality isn't there and it either goes out for a corner or we end up losing the ball. So dribbling wise, aggression wise, brilliant. Fair play to him, done really well. But unfortunately, I think if he was playing a right back instead of left back, I think it would be a different scenario. I think he'd be able to whip those balls across the face of goal, and you would see a lot better from him in the final third. But he's really good at getting to the final third, and then it seems to break down for him, unfortunately. But I thought probably one of, if not our best player on the day, to be fair.
Pape Sarr, Sim gives him a 3. I gave him a 2. I mean, horrific passing in the middle of the park. One that led to, I think it was the second goal for Everton. I don't know what's going on with Pape at the moment. Is he running on empty? But he's just not providing anything for the team. And he's pretty much just leaving a gaping hole in the middle of the park that Everton just had all the time and all the space in the world to work in. And he's just playing shocking at the moment, and he's a shadow of, we were praising him so much, halfway into the first half of the season, and the last 3 or 4 games he's been nothing short of horrific. Yeah,
I also don't think the formation change helped him playing in that double pivot. I think he needed that extra support because I thought Mangala, Decoring, Idrissa Gueye were just completely overrunning him in that middle, and he couldn't live with it. You can see that for the, I think it was the opening goal. He's just chasing shadows at times, and he couldn't really catch up with anyone. And yeah, it was another shocking performance. I agree, he's just not at it at the moment, and I don't know if he can't put the energy levels that we know he can. Quality-wise on the ball, he's really struggling as well. So, yeah, terrible.
Lucas Bergvall up next, 6s all round. Another one that seems to keep up his standards week in, week out at the moment, and another one who's had not too much game time all season, so it's not too surprising. But I really love the energy levels that he brings. I mean, the midfield was getting completely overran yesterday, but every time I thought Lucas Bergvall got on the ball, I thought he provided a bit of quality. He's the only player pretty much in the midfield that was able to really keep onto the ball and provide accurate passes. So yeah, one of the better performers.
Yeah, and again, I thought he grew as the game went on. I thought second half he was kind of started to dominate a bit in that middle, and he was striding around the pitch. But first half, again, I think him and Sarr really struggled against that midfield 3. He was making fouls. He was a bit all over the shop defensively. He wasn't getting in his position. I think on the ball, you just see though that flashes of quality he can bring. And I thought second half he played really well. But yeah, I think when it comes to him, it's difficult when you've got such strong midfielders like Everton have, and he's trying to do his best and he couldn't.
James Maddison, Sim gives him a 4, I gave him a 3. I mean, for a player who's barely started a game over the course of the last month, he's getting half an hour here, half an hour there in games. Sim gives him 4, I gave him a 3. You really expect him to really take the game by the scruff of the neck, really to be the danger man, really to show why he's the vice captain of this football club. And he does anything but that. He gets the ball, he twists and turns without providing really any quality at the end of it. I thought, when we were in the ascendancy in the last 15 minutes, he did some work to provide Kulusevski with that goal. But apart from that, he pretty much didn't have anything to do in the game.
Yeah, I mean, he saw a lot of the ball, but he just wasn't able to do anything with it. His passing was erratic, giving it away, sloppy passes when he should be doing a lot better. I thought he did do well for the goal, to be fair. He made sure he kept it away from Pickford and gave it to Mikey Moore, who obviously had the shot blocked, and Decky scored. But that was the only real moment where he showed any sort of like composure or quality. I thought actually one thing he lacked, which is very rare for someone like Maddison, is that composure. He tried his best to kind of like dictate the game, but wasn't working at all for him, and he struggled to impact it in the way that with the quality he has, that he should really be impacting it. He was kind of playing in the middle. I know he was a bit of a new position for him, but he should be doing a lot better than what he provided yesterday, because I just thought the quality was nowhere near enough.
Decky up next. Him gives him a 7. I gave him a 6. And like I said in the match review, God bless this man. He's been overplayed, overworked. The guy is knackered. You could clearly see it again on the pitch yesterday. But the work ethic and the effort that this guy is putting in is incredible. And there was bits of quality in there as well. In the first half, I thought if anything was going to come, it was going to come through him. And in the second half, obviously, it was an unbelievable finish, wasn't it, for the goal to make it 3-1. I think there was 3 men back there, and he had to get it literally pinpoint into the roof of the net, and that's what he did. But yeah, I really feel for him. He made 5 key passes on the day as well. I really feel for him because, you know, he's running on empty at the moment, and he's literally giving all that he can give right now.
Yeah, I thought he looked really good, to be fair, on the day, and fair play to him. I thought it was a good performance, but unfortunately he was let down by majority of the players around him. I thought the chance he set up for Son, brilliant piece of movement as well, great turn and laid into Son, who should be scoring. The goal he scored was a touch of class, lovely chip into the top corner in a pressure moment, so fair play. And I thought he was the only one who was consistently causing Everton problems in the front line, but I thought Maddison and Sonny really let him down with their finishing and their performances. So I thought he did well with Mikey Moore as well when he came on, and I thought when Richarlison came on, he had someone to aim at. He kept going long to him and nearly getting some joy. So yeah, I thought he played well.
And last but not least in the starting lineup is Son Heung-min. Sim gives him a 5. I gave him a 3. I mean, you've got to finish that chance at 1-0. You just have to finish that chance. A Sonny of old, Sonny with confidence. He finishes that 10 times out of 10. And you can just see clearly, you know, first of all, he's knackered, and second of all, he's devoid of all confidence. And it's really hard to watch. It really is. And, you know, credit to him for getting in positions where he should have scored. The first chance that he did get, you know, where it looks like he's bearing down on goal and James Tarkowski just makes up ground and tackles him. I thought he needs to act quicker in that situation. But, look, he was getting an opportunity to score. But if you're getting in those opportunities, you've got to put it in the back of the net. And he didn't.
Yeah, the only reason I'll give him a bit of a 5 instead of a lot lower, because he was actively, continually doing stuff to hurt Everton. He was getting in behind, he was causing problems. But once he gets in those positions, we know Son needs to be a killer that we know he can be, and he just wasn't that. He was stretching Everton, and considering how Everton usually defend, the fact that he was able to find a bit of space and find those moments is easier said than done. And I thought he was doing well to do that, but the finishing just wasn't there on the day. Then second half, moved a bit. Obviously, I thought when Mikey Moore came on, there was some good link up there between those two. But unfortunately, with Son's quality, when he doesn't finish those chances and we end up losing the game, especially at crucial moments, he's going to be marked down for it. Also, a bit unlucky because he could have had a penalty, but it would have been a soft one. But I do think on replay, I think Bramford was a bit lucky not to give away a penalty in that situation.
Richarlison, the sub who came on at half-time for Radu Dragusin, 6s all round for Richie. And yeah, he added a bit of extra energy. I thought he didn't really do much up until the last 15 minutes. And then he got on the back of a really great cross from Mikey Moore and puts it in the back of the net, so gets marked up for that.
Yeah, a bit of a Jekyll and Hyde cameo for Richie. I thought definitely added a bit more in the front line when it comes to a bit of a presence. He did have a chance or two where his left foot shot was too comfortably safe from Pickford. He should be burying that. And I thought he just gave us someone that I think Decky and Porro kept going direct to him, and we were getting a bit of joy out of it, which obviously we couldn't really do that in the first half without him. And we're definitely going to need him massively over the next few weeks with Solanke out. Hopefully it's not as bad as people are fearing, but some people are saying 6 weeks. We're going to need Rishi in that period. And he got his goal, and I think it was a good finish, well-timed run off the back of a good cross by Moore. And I think that's his first Premier League goal of the season, so good timing, because with Solanke out, we're going to need him in good form. But Maddison said after the game he's still not fit enough to start a game, so it'll be interesting to see when that happens, because we're going to need him desperately.
And the last of the playing staff, our star boy, Mikey Moore. Sim gives him an 8. I gave him a 7. He came on and straight away was just causing Everton problems. Willingness to run at his opponent. He was providing quality, and the assist was an absolute delight. It really was. A cross from deep, bang on the money for Richarlison, who made the right run. So I've got to give Mikey Moore so much credit, because at a time where the team just needed something extra, it took for a 17-year-old kid to come on and provide it. So yeah, he's got to be getting more minutes.
Yeah, phenomenal. And we know he's been out for quite a long time, and and just trying to just ease him back into the fold. But this was a phenomenal cameo, I thought. As soon as he came on, it just sparked Tottenham into life a bit, and he was the one asking questions of that Everton backline, causing problems for their fullbacks, winning corners, committing players, creating openings. I think he created the opening for Richarlison where he missed his chance. Obviously he was involved in the first goal when he got in a good position where his shot was blocked and Decky scoring the rebound, and then obviously unbelievable cross, quick thinking as well, took the corner quickly, got in a position and put it absolutely on a sixpence for Richarlison at the back post to bury it. And maybe if that game went on for a bit longer and Mikey Moore had a bit more of a say, maybe we could have got back in the game, but too little too late, unfortunately. But a brilliant cameo from him, and we just need to see more of him in this kind of form, because maybe if he's going to step up in this kind of form, that can be another kind of weapon we can use, because we're clearly running out of them at the moment.
Most definitely need more of Moore. It gave me a bit of vibes of the cameo, the second half he had at RZ Alkmaar, like that, those first 15 minutes in the second half, where he was just untouchable. It felt like Everton didn't really just know how to deal with him.
Absolutely.
And last but not least, Ange Postecoglou. Sim gives him a 3. I gave him a 2. Tried a new formation, got it completely wrong. 3-0 down at half-time, game gone. Maybe because of the decisions that he made. I thought persisting to play with some of these knackered players when you've got players on the bench, albeit not many, but you do have a few situations where you can take a few players out the firing line. Porro being a clear example of that, where you could have played Reguilon at left back and Spence at right back, which probably impacts Spence better in the attacking phases of the game as well, where that Reguilon and Spence can't play on Thursday. So it's just madness to me why you don't play them in this game. So you give Porro a bit of a rest in the weekend, and then have him a little bit fresher for the game on Thursday night. Not to saying playing Reguilon would have changed all our fortunes, or we would have gone and won the game. We probably wouldn't, but at least it gives a bit of respite to some of our players, and they can play the game on Thursday without having 90 minutes in their legs on the weekend. I thought Mikey Moore should have either started or come on a lot earlier than he did. And I just felt like you've got players like Will Lancashire there as well, where you should be giving more minutes to when you're looking at players completely out on their feet. And I just feel like he looks clueless at the moment. He's managing the situation all wrong. And he's on a hiding to nothing at the moment.
Yeah, I think there was a shit show that first half. He took responsibility for it. I think the formation change completely backfired. I think the defence didn't know who they were picking up. I thought the pressing structure was completely obliterated with it as well, because players didn't seem to know who they're going with the pressing and all that kind of stuff. So it was a complete mishmash, and I think Everton completely took advantage of it, and it was a massive shit show in that first half. And second half, he obviously changed it back. He took off Dragusin and went with Richarlison, and it didn't really change until Mikey Moore came on. We did get 2 quick goals, and there was some semblance of a fight back, but it was too little too late, unfortunately. But I think in the current situation we're in, he doesn't know how to deal with it, unfortunately. He doesn't know how to get us out of the situation we're in with the injuries and losing players left, right and centre, and he's trying to keep us playing attacking football, but it just isn't working. We're being too easily beaten every single week, and until we get players back or new signings, I just don't see the situation changing massively until that point, and I don't see him changing himself in terms of the way we're playing. Not to say that he plays the way he plays because he's gotten to where he is at in terms of his managerial career, but he has to, I think, where we are at the moment in terms of the situation of the squad and the lack of signings and the players he's got to choose from, he has to realise that the way we're playing isn't going to yield results right now, and I don't think he seems to realise that, and it's costing us week in, week out, and it's difficult to see that situation changing until there's some respite when it comes to injuries or new signings, and we've got to sort that out as quickly as possible.
Yeah, absolutely.